Welcome to the Credit Union Connection. I'm here with Sarah from Pulsate. She's going to talk a little bit about mobile banking, among other things. And why don't you just start out introducing yourself?
Thank you, Sarah. Lovely to meet you. It's very handy that your name is Sarah.
Yes.
I'm Sarah Martin, CEO of Pulsate. I'm actually Irish.
I noticed.
Yeah. So sorry if you might need subtitles when you look back on this. But yes, I still live in Ireland, but we serve almost 270 financial institutions here in the United States with our product and technology, and always growing, which is great. And Pulsate is about giving the credit union the ability to engage with their members digitally and just making sure that their members think of them when they have that financial need and not somebody else, not the other guy, and definitely not Googling it. So we are about giving our customers the tools and strategies they need to deepen that relationship within digital banking that's been lost, as well as the capabilities to cut through in that moment of need when they have a financial need and bringing them into digital banking to take care of that with the credit union rather than going down other routes.
Right. Yeah. No. And obviously COVID changed everything. I hate saying it because you hear it all the time, but it really did, right? It was like we needed that kick in the pants to go more digital. So I mean that really accelerated the digital evolution more to a revolution-ish, a slower revolution. But talk a little bit about that because we were just talking before we started recording about I'm somebody who logs into banking almost every day, and you may not, but that's definitely something that people of all ages. I'm not exactly Gen Z. People of all ages are doing. So like that evolution and revolution has kind of been fascinating to watch.
Yes. It sure has, because actually probably 10, 15 years of consumer behavioral change occurred within that 2 or 3 months of the pandemic within banking, because it was still primarily branch-based banking in terms of profitability, share of wallet, etc. And very, very quickly, consumers just were not able to go to the branch anymore. So they had to serve themselves more remotely or self-serve. And actually, at the beginning of the pandemic, we had like 4, maybe 5 FIs using Pulsate. And by the end of the pandemic, we had more than 100. Because they needed, and they still do, they needed the tools to be able to proactively communicate and engage with their members, even though they're not going to the branch anymore. And now, a Chase study released early last year, just 10% of American consumers actually want to go back to a branch.
Right.
More than that do go to the branch, but you can tell 90% of all of those opportunities that were created at the branch are at risk of being lost, which is crisis level. Like there has to be an urgency around resolving the ability to create a relationship with your members when they're not coming to the branch. Because that's 90% of all opportunities that can be lost. And that's our passion. That's everything we do at Pulsate is about giving the credit union the ability to be top of mind in their own members' moment of financial need, and just cutting through and making sure the member is also better able to manage their own finances. Like there are credit unions, or there are consumers out there with like products at 6 or 7 different financial institutions. They can't keep in control of their own finances anymore. So there's an urgency to give members back the ability to have things in one central location as well. So there's a lot of what we do that brings that member in so that they're being served, and not just, get a loan or get a deposit. Like that's the last thing that our customers are doing with Pulsate. They are doing it and they're being very successful with it, but they're being picky about it and being very targeted and relevant to the member. So we see what we do is we give our credit unions the ability to engage and make sure that their members are using all of the amazing products and services that are available within digital banking, be it anti-fraud solutions, card controls, making sure that they're utilizing e-statements, that if there's a credit score available that they know about it and they're using it. And that's all about deepening the engagements and the stickiness and being so much more top of mind when they have a financial need, because they have this deeper relationship digitally. And then Pulsate is also identifying if there's a moment of need, financial need, just cutting through in that moment to let them say, hey Sarah, don't forget you are pre-approved for $35,000 with us. Click here to accept. And when they click on that notification or communication, they're brought to exactly the location within digital banking to take that action. So not like being left in a different app, which is an email app, or in another app, which is an SMS app, but actually directly within digital banking and taking that action, which is obviously great for the member because they get to follow up. But also if they get distracted and then they don't take that application or they don't finish it because life gets in the way, Pulsate's in there just like nudging them back in to complete that action, which is really important aspect because I think the latest stats I read was 83% of applications are abandoned.
Oh, at least, yes.
At least, you've had it yourself, and then you start and you don't finish, and it's like, where was that? How did I get there? So Pulsate's just resolving that and just helping the member to self-serve and get them through to, the products they need.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because that evolution, fortunately, unfortunately, I'm old enough to have watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, the credit union where I am a volunteer at, we were the first ones to have online banking in the country.
Oh, wow.
The first credit union.
What was the credit union?
It's called APL, Federal Credit Union.
Lovely.
Yeah, and so you go from there to where, I was talking to a credit union CEO probably 10 years ago now, about remote deposit capture. And people didn't know they were the first ones to try this. And people were sending pictures of their cats and stuff.
Oh my God, I love that. I actually love that.
And then,
Deposit
to
my cat
today.
into the bank
Yes,
account.
exactly. So to today where, and again, probably 10, 15 years ago, everybody's talking about aggregation. Nobody knew how to use aggregation.
Yeah.
And the technology has just come along and of course, which has driven the price down, makes it much more easier to have those data lakes. You've watched technology evolve.
Yeah.
And it's not only, yes, it's affected banking, but to your point, it has affected everybody's daily lives. We can imagine applying for a loan online when I was in college. It didn't exist.
And still, for many consumers today, they still can't imagine it, but
Right.
it is coming. There's no doubt about it. And often I talk to credit union leaders who are like, "Oh, but my members, they skew slightly older." My mom is touching. I'm not going to say her age in case she watches this, but she's doing all of her banking online, and there's no stopping her. She basically can do Facebook and digital banking. There's really
That's all you need.
There's really no stone that's not unturned with this transformation of the industry. And I think it's so important that we can bring that ethos of the relationship and the community into digital banking, because that's what makes this movement so wonderful.
Yes.
And I don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that. We should not be allowing that to be lost. So if we can make even just a small difference there to give credit unions the ability to establish that relationship and deepen that relationship, I will work night, noon, and morning to make sure that that's possible. And I know my team do as well.
Yeah, now transferring that personal experience online or on your phone, whatever, it's challenging because it's not, you got a flat two-dimensional screen there in front of you as opposed to being face-to-face like this.
Yeah.
But so, I love that idea of personalization.
Yes.
And it's so popular too. It just makes, that's how you digitally make people feel special, right?
Yes.
As opposed to using your name, Sarah, over and over again.
I know. I was just going to say, that is not personalization. Do not let anybody say that your name is in the email.
Your name's email is personalized.
No. Personalized is when Sarah has a financial need for an auto
Exactly,
loan, that Sarah receives the message through the channel she's most likely to engage with, and it's a product that she actually has an interest in.
Right.
So one of the, I guess, within the industry, credit unions right now, and for no other reason other than that's what's available to them, sending their customers email after email after email about everything.
Yep.
And anything that's important to the credit union.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we're really about turning that around. So communicating less with Sarah, the member.
But better.
But only really touching on the things that are relevant.
Yes.
And so not like, if Sarah already has the app, do not send her an email telling her to download the app again, because that's just not relevant. But maybe she's downloaded the app, then you want to maybe tell her about the benefits of setting up direct deposit. Mm-hmm. Or how, maybe Sarah doesn't realize that there's a great rewards program associated with your card. Encourage her to activate that card and get using it. Mm-hmm. Add it to the digital wallet, which is another huge behavioral change. Like, these are the things you want to be able to do because you want to give your members a convenient, useful service. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not there to babysit their kids, right? It's financial things. They're in digital banking. They're thinking about banking. So serve them around that and making their financial health better. And I think that's just so important to bring it back to the relevancy. Because you're, as a bank, you're a banking entity, a financial institution, it's still about the financial health of your members. Not necessarily about, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. But just making sure that relevancy, relevancy is so important. Like, your members don't want to know about something irrelevant to banking from you. They don't. That's not what you're there for.
Right. Yep. And like you can see or you notice I'm sometimes at a car dealership more frequently than I might be, or say my car loan is 4 years old, so it's either time to get a new car or maybe even refinance or so having those timely offers
so important. And like we obviously so the rollover, we call that a rollover campaign, just making sure that we're nudging those even actually 2 years is the sweet spot really for auto, just to start like seeding then, and not in an obnoxious way, but like really subtly supporting. But last year we had in the industry a lot of credit unions do a huge push for CDs. Which was really important to lock down those deposits, right? Because there was a moment there where things were not looking so
tight good. Liquidity.
So liquidity was and still is a massive necessity for the industry and an urgency around that. So last year our customers were driving to CDs, and it was in the early days we were learning as well, right? Deposits it wasn't a common thing for quite a while. So using Pulsate to encourage members to sign up for CDs. Now what we have, and we had one customer grow less than $1 billion. They got 21 million incremental deposits through using Pulsate, and a huge portion of that was CDs. But right now, that same credit union and other credit unions just like them, those CDs are going to expire. So Pulsate's in there just automatically encouraging them to extend, or as we call that, rollover campaigns. And that's so important right this minute. But also when it comes to deposits, we've been really supporting our customers just to be a bit more cognizant of profitability. Yeah. So targeting when it comes to deposits and profitability is absolutely key. If you offer a high value deposit product to all of your members,
you're going to go broke.
You're hitting your profitability, and it did happen, and there was a reason for it. So stick to your objectives. Like last year, there was an urgency to keep those deposits, but now we're working with our customers just to be much more targeted. So identify those members who don't have a deposit with you. Right. And the data's there. And encourage them to sign up for the high value CD. So therefore balancing the profitability of their portfolio, and that's been much smaller numbers, but much better for the overall financial performance of the credit union. Right.
Yeah, and profitability, at one point, you didn't say that among credit unions because we're not for profits, but you need to keep the lights on, man.
And that's how you serve more members.
Yes, your ROI is how you serve the members.
That is how you get, and you reach more, and you can do more for more members. It isn't about profit, because it is a not-for-profit movement, but
it's the mission that's different, the philosophy.
You have to have that growth in order to continue your mission and expand the mission is such a great word, like to expand your reach for with that great value that they're creating for their communities.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, I'm going to let you have the final word. Any final thoughts as we wrap this up today?
Loads of thoughts. It's just wonderful to be back at GAC. There's such a period of not being able to come. This is like my favorite conference of the year. I get to meet so many of our amazing customers and partners and future friends, and it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you today, Sarah, and thank you so much for the opportunity. We are going to continue to serve as many credit unions as possible and help them to be successful in this mobile first banking environment.
Yeah, great, awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.